Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy July 5th surprise live stream here from the Panhandle of Florida. It's Diego and beautiful Karina. She's at work. She's waiting patiently for me, and I'm waiting patiently for her. She's at work. I'm here doing a surprise live stream to help you guys get your K1 visas and your green cards and your spousal visas and your tourist visas. And if you want to bring mom to the United States, I can teach you how to do that. And the best thing about this whole channel is that everything is absolutely free. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't work for USCIS. I don't work for the State Department. I don't work for any of those companies that charge you lots and lots of money to process a simple green card or a simple K1 visa. The process is easy, guys. You don't need to be paying all this money to people to process a green card. Karina got her green card. She got her work permit. She got her K1 visa. Karina is from Venezuela. And today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today is Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to the citizens of Venezuela. And on July 28th of this month, 2024, so today's July 7th, they have an election in Venezuela. And hopefully that communist dictator Maduro gets kicked out of office by the political means, okay? Peacefully, calmly, but he's got to go. Venezuela needs to be a free country where they can get back to drilling for oil, processing gasoline, and making money instead of bending over and kowtowing to the communists. Now, Ahmed Shalabi, good morning, Diego. Good morning, Ahmed. How are you? How's your day? How's your family? How's everybody doing? Nadia Olisa, good morning, Diego. Good morning, Olisa. And Laura Flores, good morning, guys. Now, Karina's at work. I got up early this morning and drove her to work. Okay, she doesn't have her driver's license yet, so I am the taxi for Karina until she gets her Florida driver's license. She had to wait for her green card. She has her green card. She had to wait for her social security number. She has her social security number. When she got her green card, we went back to the Social Security office, okay, and we lifted the conditions off of her Social Security card, and now she is a full-term, permanent resident of the United States. So the Social Security office is going to mail her a new Social Security card with all that Homeland Security blurbage gone. It's going to be just a card with her number on it. The Social Security number doesn't change, okay? It doesn't change, but she's going to get a new card in the mail with all that Homeland Security work by permission only, Mother May I stuff. All that's going to go away. I got Mountain Dew. Okay, it's pretty warm here in Florida. It's a pretty warm day, but thank goodness Karina is working in air conditioning. I tell you, this Mountain Dew is good stuff. It helps me get through these live streams. It keeps my mouth nice and fluid, and I can give you all the answers to your questions. Nazanin, how is green card interview? We didn't have a green card interview. Karina and I put together a green card application that was so strong, that was so powerful, it was filled with so much evidence of our wonderful relationship over the last 3 years plus. When we submitted her green card application, the evidence was overwhelmingly in favor of Karina, so she didn't get a green card interview. They mailed her green card in the mail from Corbin, Kentucky, and it showed up in the mailbox. And Karina walked out to the mailbox and she opened up the letter, and lo and behold, there was her green card. Now, if you put together a real weak green card application with hardly any information in it, hardly any evidence of your relationship, then more likely you're going to get a green card interview scheduled. Ahmed Shalabi, is it okay to apply for jobs while waiting for a work permit? You can apply for jobs if you want, but if the company asks you for your alien number and your work permit number, how are you going to provide it if you don't have it? When Karina applied for her job, they asked her, are you a legal permanent resident or a U.S. citizen, or are you here with a work permit? Back then, she had said she had a work permit. Then they asked her, what is the number of your work permit? What is it? What's the alien number? She gave them the information. She got hired. If you apply for a job while waiting for your work permit, Ahmed, if they ask you for your work permit number, how are you going to give it to them? It's going to be difficult, right? My recommendation is wait till you get the work permit in your hand, hold it in your hand, and then go ahead and start looking for jobs. You'll get a job. When Karina got her green card in the mail, she told her boss, hey, look, here's my green card. I'm now legal, and my work permit is no longer necessary. I got my green card. She received her work permit, I think it was May 28th of 2024. Then she got her green card on June 25th, 2024. So there's only about a 4-week difference between the work permit and the green card. So for you guys out there spending $260 on freaking work permits, why don't you just wait for your green card? Because you're going to get it right after. You're going to get it a month or two after you would have got your work permit. Why are you spending all that money? Tina Phoebe Umokoro. Hello, Diego. My petitioner just moved last week. Is it required that his driver's license reflects his new address before filing the I-129F? That's a good question, and it's absolutely correct. The address on the driver's license must reflect the address on the I-129F petition. So if you move, let's suppose you live in Florida and you move to Nevada. You move to Nevada, you must put, before you file for your K-1 visa application, you must get your address on your new driver's license and you change it. You change it. You gotta have the driver's license address has got to match the address on the I-129F. Ren S, good morning, Diego. I'm in Texas. Haven't started on the adjustment of status for my husband yet, but we want to know, do you think the biometrics will be scheduled in Texas? I live in Plano, Texas. Yes. Ren S, your husband will have his biometrics in Texas. That's correct. The reason Karina had her biometrics in New Orleans, Louisiana, even though we live in Florida, is because we live in the panhandle of Florida, close to the Alabama border. Okay? The closest immigration office, field office, is in New Orleans on Poydras Street, 1250 Poydras Street. So we had to drive from Florida to Alabama to Mississippi to Louisiana. But if you live in a big state like Texas, which is the second largest state in our constitutional republic, you're going to have your biometrics in Texas. Let me see. Tina, I'm repeating what I just said, okay? Your petitioner's driver's license address must match the address on the I-129F petition. Ahmed, does Karina have to make evaluation through WES to use her degree? I have no idea. What is WES? I don't know. Karina has a degree in tax accounting. They just, the job, the people just look at her accreditation that we changed from Venezuela to the United States. I don't know what a WES is. Nazanin, how much does it cost to process a green card? Well, if you process the green card and include the work permit, it's $1,700. That's the green card, the work permit, and the biometrics. Okay, but if you don't want to get the work permit, which to me is a waste of money, okay, it will cost you $1,440. $1,400. I'll put it right here in the chat. It's going to be $1,440. That's for the green card and the biometrics. If you want a green card, biometrics, and work permit, it's going to be $1,700. Okay, you got it. And don't ask me about the advanced parole document. That's the advanced parole document. Why do you guys need an advanced parole document? You move into America, get married, stay in America, and go on vacation when you get your green card. Let me see here. Adus Abeka. Good morning. Well, good morning, Adus. How are you? Devil Dog Z just got the K1 visa approved from the embassy. She will be flying back with me on the 20th of July. Devil Dog Z, that's a Mountain Dew salute. That's a Diet Mountain Dew salute. Congratulations. That's outstanding. Congratulations. It's getting through. You're getting through this process, guys, right? You're getting through it. You're getting through it. Let me see here. Hannah. Hi, Diego. I made an interview for the K1 visa last Friday. Got approved verbally. And the SIAC is also mentioned approved. But till now, the status did not change to issued. How long? Hannah, remind me the country. Remind me which country, please. I try to remember all you guys where you live, but it's hard. I try to remember. I got 260 countries I got to keep track of. Ren S, I'm a little confused. I got married 2 weeks ago. I'm the sponsor in the K1, received my marriage license, but my name's still the same. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. You change your name on the adjustment of status paperwork, right? Listen up, Ren S. Let me show you. When you get married, the marriage certificate, the marriage license is not gonna change any names. Karina's maiden name is on the marriage certificate. Okay, not her married name to me. Karina changed her married name to me on page 1, right here. This is where you change your name on page 1 of the 485 when you submit for the green card, not on the marriage certificate. The marriage certificate has Karina's maiden name. Perfectly fine, okay? But you changed the name. Karina changed her name to Ross on form 485, okay? Her work permit came in, Karina Ross. Her green card arrived in the mail, Karina Ross. That's how you do it. Let me see. That's how you do it. You can change your last name, Renes, to your husband's last name, but you do it on the form 485 and on the 864. You just change it. But right here it says, you change it on the 485. It's not difficult. I'll help you through it. Hannah, which country? I'm trying to remember. It's a country in the Middle East, Jordan, okay. How long will it take the embassy to issue the visa? About 10 days to 2 weeks if you didn't get a 221G. If you didn't get a 221G, if you got approved, then you're good. It will take about 10 days, somewhere in there. Renes, to my husband's last name, will this cause my adjustment of status issues? No. When your husband fills out this form, USCIS form 485, it's going to be information about him. Okay, all right, and then then they're going to ask questions about you. Okay, and then where it asks questions about you, that's where you change your name to your husband's name. You got it? Renes, it's not difficult. Come on now. You can do this. I'm unconfusing you. Okay? Vanessa, Tape, hey Diego, I'm worried about my name order issue. My name order was reversed on my passport, so I've been told to do a court judgment document here in the US. A court judgment document. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give any legal advice. I don't give you none of that. I don't work for the State Department or USCIS. But when you ask me, you've been told to do a court judgment document because your name order was reversed on your passport. Why don't you just renew your passport? Don't you have an embassy in the United States for your country where you can go in and just get your passport corrected, and then you don't have to go through all this court judgment baloney? What country are you from, Vanessa? What country are we talking about? And I'll help you. I'll help you through this, but it's not legal advice. It's just I know how to do it. Renes, when I got married, the judge didn't ask me if I was going to take my husband's name or not. Well, it doesn't matter. If you want to take your husband's name, you take your husband's name. You can do it. You do it on the paperwork for the green card application and for the affidavit of support. World Education Service. Yes, yeah, I did that. The World Education Services. We did a credential evaluation. Yeah, Karina got her degree evaluated, and it came out as a degree in tax accounting. We did that, yes, and I also got it translated into English because it's all in freaking Spanish. She's from Venezuela, and today, by the way, wish this. We got people watching us in Venezuela. Today is Independence Day in Venezuela. Happy Independence Day, Venezuela. Albertine Umohosa Morasira. Hello, Diego. I would like to ask you how long it takes the K1 file visa to get to the embassy when it shows in transit. 2 to 3 weeks. That is what the case shows since the 2nd of July. It takes 2 to 3 weeks depending on the country. Okay, but I want to give you a Mountain Dew salute for getting that this far in the K1 visa process. Good job. Good job. Give it a couple of weeks, okay? It took about 2 weeks for Karina's K1 visa package to get from New Hampshire to the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. Karina had her K1 visa interview on November 16, 2023 at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. She passed the visa interview. She got approved, but she got a 221G because they needed an Interpol police certificate because Karina was a resident of Colombia for 6 years almost after and she's a Venezuelan citizen. So it took 4 weeks to get the Interpol police certificate, which she got, and then we emailed it to the embassy in Bogota, and then 2 days later we picked up her K1 visa and her passport, and then January 3rd we flew to Miami. Francois Livingston, good morning, Diego, all the way from upstate New York. Upstate New York. Now, Francois, you got a bunch of conservatives living upstate New York, and you got all the communists living in downtown, right? In New York City. Couldn't you secede? Could New York, the northern New York state, secede from southern New York so you guys can get your taxes lowered? Then that way you don't have to move, right? Because we're going to try to get you out of New York because the taxes are incredulously high. Ahmed, what does Karina use to evaluate her degree? We use the Spanish group. All right, listen up, Ahmed. Go into this company right here. Right here. Right here. Go into that company right there and ask them to evaluate your education credentials, and they will evaluate them for you and give you a certification, which is accepted in the United States. Hannah, you in Jordan, beautiful Jordan. We love our friends in Jordan, Hannah. Give it about a week to 10 days and you'll get your passport, okay? Let me see here. Hannah, it's a country in the Middle East. We love our friends in the Middle East. So this is a normal process after the approval to receive the visa within 10 days. 10 days to 2 weeks, it depends. It all depends on how busy is the embassy. You know, some days I'm busy, sometimes I'm not busy. If I'm busy, okay, then I don't have time to do this. I have to do this. But if I'm not busy, I have time to do this. It all depends on what the embassy workload is. But it shouldn't take long, okay? Francois Livingston, Diego, on the DS-160, there's a question about beneficiary, estimated arrival, and departure. I couldn't remember what you said. Wants to put in that spot, please. And thank you, Francois. You can guess. Okay, it's an estimated departure from the United Arab Emirates. When I filled out Karina's DS-160, I helped to fill it out because she doesn't speak English or read English. We had no idea. We thought for sure that she was going to get all her paperwork wrapped up in November, but she got a 221G because of the Interpol police certificate. So I put a departure date of like February of 2024. I think we put like February 15th, 2024. It's a guess. We have no clue. We actually left on January 3rd, 2024. Did the Border Patrol give her a hard time because the DS-160 departure date didn't match up with the day we arrived in America? No, they're like, it's irrelevant. It's a guess. So, Francois, you can put any date down you want on the DS-160, so long as it's past I would say 30 days past. You're not going to get an RFE, Francois. You're not going to get an RFE if you. Here's what I would do when you schedule the visa interview. Well, you don't know. You don't know. Let's say, I would put down there. Let's say we're in July. Let's put down there September 30th of 2024. How about that? How about September 30th, 2024? That'll work. That's perfectly good. If it goes past that date or it's before that date, no big deal. Stephen Baldwin, me and my fiance just got married on July 1st. Is there a time frame we have to adjust the status? Stephen Baldwin, congratulations. Mountain Dew salute for getting married. And my recommendation is to get the green card application done within 90 days. I would say do it after 60 days after getting married. But you can go past 90 days. You're still in status. When you arrive in the United States of America, the K-1 visa is gone. You've used it. You used the K-1 visa one time to fly to America. You get off the plane, you go into immigration checkpoint, you talk to the Border Patrol officer, and they issue you an I-94. Those are 90 days. The I-94 is 90 days. You got 90 days to get married. But you don't have to apply for the green card within 90 days. You can apply after 4 months if you want, after 5 months. But you don't want to go past 6 months because then immigration is going to say, what the heck, dude? What's going on? Okay? Francois, I printed a sample of the DS-160 to get myself prepared when I work on it tomorrow with my fiance. Good job, Francois. Excellent work. Ren S. But after I changed my name on the adjustment of status paperwork to my husband's, do I have to change it on all my legal documents? Yes. Your driver's license, your passport, yeah, your library card, your Sam's Club card. Yes. When you get married, if you take your husband's name, you got to change your driver's license, your passport, your all those legal documents, except your birth certificate. Don't change that. Vanessa, Cameroon. Okay, Vanessa, great. Cameroon. Beautiful Cameroon. Albertine Umahoza Murasira. I'm in Rwanda. So in that case, can I start doing anything regarding my interview since it will take 2 to 3 weeks? Yeah, if you're in Rwanda, you can submit the DS-160 and pay the visa fee. It's $265 if you can. Get the process started. Francois, you're not going to get an RFE. If you don't get the exact date when you're going to leave the United States or your husband to be your beneficiary, it's all good. Don't worry about it. It's a guesstimate, right? It's a guess. When you fill out wedding plans for the consulate interview, you don't know what day you're going to get married. You don't know what day, or you just don't know because you don't have your K-1 visa yet. But you know where the location is. You know who the pastor is, right? Or the preacher, or the mosque, wherever you're getting married, or the government office. Don't worry, Francois, you'll be perfectly fine, okay? But remember, Francois, when you submit the DS-160, it's good for 12 months, and you must print the confirmation page of the DS-160. Let me see here. Albertine, I can start finding the DS-160. Sure, it's good for a year. Go ahead, get it done. Francois, NOA2 expired September 13th, 2024. The NOA2 letter is irrelevant right now. You're working with the embassy. So your NOA2 letter has already been extended automatically. Francois, you're good. Your NOA2 letter is automatically extended. Okay? Do you put anything for departure from the USA? No, you're not going to depart the USA. You're going to be departing from the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates. Your beneficiary is going to be leaving the UAE, flying to America. So you do not put anything for departing from the USA. It doesn't apply on a DS-160 when it's a K-1. Addis Abeka. Good morning, my friends. Ados, what's going on? Francois Livingston, thank you. Francois, listen, you get in the Mountain Dew salute. Okay, Francois, relax. The DS-160 is the easy part. You fill out the DS-160, you put your name on the DS-160 because you helped your beneficiary fill it out. So you got to put your name on there as the helper. You're the helper bee, right? You submit it. It's good for a year, and then you print the confirmation page, okay? And once you pay the consular fee of $265, remember, the DS-160 is totally free. There is absolutely no charge for the DS-160. It's a totally free form. But you got to pay for the visa consular processing, which is the biometrics and the K1 visa that goes in the passport. $265. As soon as you pay, as soon as the embassy get their money, then you can schedule the visa interview and the biometrics. Don't forget to tell your husband-to-be he's got to get his medical exam done. Once you know the visa interview date, all right, you'll have a better idea. You want to get the medical exam done about 2 weeks before the visa interview. So that gives the doctors time to do the exam. And if there's anything missing or if there's any vaccinations required, they give you an opportunity, etc., etc. So, you know, that's how you do it. And it's not difficult to do. Francois, I'm going to get you through this. I'm going to get you through. Remember, when Karina, she scheduled her medical exam in Bogota, Colombia. Okay? Karina scheduled her medical exam in Bogota, Colombia. She went face to face. I scheduled the visa interview at the embassy and the biometrics. Some things that she had to do, some things that I did to help her. And I hope the light is good on here. I don't know if you guys can see me or not. I hope the lighting is good, so you can see you can see me in the office. The K1 visa process is a long process, and it gets even longer if you don't fill out the paperwork properly. If you don't pay the correct fee. If you don't pay the correct fee, everything's going to be sent back to you. If you apply for your green card and you put the wrong amount on the check, if you don't fill out the check properly, when you apply for a K1 visa or for a green card, you got to make out the check too. Right here. This is who you make out the check to. And don't make any mistakes on this. That's who you fill out the check to. U.S. Department of Homeland Security. You got to squeeze it in on the paperwork. I don't recommend using money orders because it's only good for $1,000 max. A green card application costs more than $1,000. Let me see here. Steve Baldwin, the civil surgeon in Poland, failed to put our waiver in my fiance's medical exam due to religious reasons. He told us, he stated it in her medical report. So do we need another exam in the United States? Stephen Baldwin, when you apply for the green card, okay, trying to get a religious exemption for something, I think we're talking about vaccinations here, they're not going to fly. When you get to the United States, repeat the medical exam. You got to get a brand new 693 filled out by a civil surgeon approved by the doctor, okay? U.S. immigration are not approving green cards with religious waivers that I can see. You're not going to get the green card. You got to get the vaccinations. Francois, Diego, you're not going to like this, but I missed what you said because a patient walked up to me. No need to repeat any of it. Francois, you're not going to get an RFE for your DS-160. You don't have to put a departure date from the United States because you're not filling it. The DS-160 is all about your husband-to-be. It's not about you. The DS-160 is the application for the K1 visa. The DS-160 is your beneficiary in the United Arab Emirates applying for his K1 visa. You're going to help him fill it out. Okay? You don't have to put anything down on a departure date from the United States. You don't have to. And Steve Baldwin, the civil surgeon in Poland, failed to put our waiver in my fiance's medical exam because of religious reasons. To get a green card, okay, immigration want to see full vaccinations. They unless you're pregnant with a medical reason. If you got a medical reason where you can't get a specific vaccination, then the immigration will accept that. But if you try to get a religious exemption, I don't know. It's 50-50. Depends on the immigration officer. Also, where do we get her vaccination report? Karina has her vaccination documents. My wife, Karina, she has them in her hand. She gave a copy to the doctor, and she has her own, and she kept a copy for herself. Her vaccination records were always with her. What do you mean? Where do you get the vaccination records from? They're in your Prometita's hand. Francois Livingston, look at that super chat. Thank you, Francois. Much appreciated. That's a Mountain Dew salute for Francois. Yeah, I will do that. I was going to take Karina this morning, but she had to be at work at like 7 o'clock. So I just took her to work and then came back and I said, okay, I got spare time. I'm going to do a live stream for you guys. Steve Baldwin, where do we get her vaccination report? Her vaccination documents should be in her hand. Another super chat from Francois. Well, Francois, I appreciate you. Mountain Dew salute. Karina appreciates you, Francois. We're going to get you through this. Stephen, the officer at the airport said they were sending her packet to USCIS. The officer at the airport said they were sending her packet to USCIS. Okay, that's great, Stephen. But what you need to do is repeat the medical exam. I don't know what state you live in, what part of the United States you live in. But if you need me to help you find a civil surgeon approved by the State Department where you can repeat the medical exam and repeat the vaccination certification, that's what you should do. When Karina got to Florida, we drove from Miami to here. We got married. I called a civil surgeon in Pensacola. I said, are you authorized to give medical exams for green card applications? And the doctor said, yeah, I can, or his administrative assistant. I said, okay, how much is that? She said, it's $175. I said, great. I said, how do I get her vaccinations recertified? They said, email me her vaccination documents. Karina has them in her hand. She has her copy. Immigration had their copy. I emailed her vaccination documents to the doctor in Pensacola, to administrative assistant. She looked at them and she said, all her vaccinations are fully in compliance with U.S. immigration law for the green card. I said, great. We scheduled the medical exam. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. We drove to Pensacola. Took about an hour. She had her medical exam. The doctor signed the 693. He signed on the vaccination lines. He put the document in a white envelope, sealed it up, taped it, and said, for USCIS Homeland Security eyes only. And Karina put that in her green card application. Okay? Nobody likes getting vaccinations. They're horrible. They're just, people don't like to get vaccinations. It's normal. But you got to have them for the green card. Religious exemptions, a civil surgeon, I don't think a civil surgeon can sign a waiver for a religious exemption. That has to come from a pastor or from a church or from a religious leader. The religious leader needs to write a letter requesting religious exemption for a vaccination. Immigration are going to say, well, that's all well and good, but unless it's a medical condition, you got to have the vaccinations. Stephen, listen to me. You can ask, you need, number one, you need to find a civil surgeon in wherever it is you live in America, get them to repeat the medical exam and ask that doctor about religious exemptions for vaccinations and see what he says or she. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I'm telling you, immigration will not issue a green card without vaccinations. unless it's a medical reason, like you're pregnant. Let me see here. Francois, in the email I got from the embassy, it stated that the fee needs to be in cash at the time of the interview. Okay, so in the United Arab Emirates, at the U.S. Embassy, your beneficiary needs to have cash, $265 in U.S. dollars, $265 in his hand, ready to pay for the consular fee at the time of the interview. There you go. It asks for an arrival date and a departure date. Well, he's not departing the United States, so just make something up. You're not going to get an RFE. You're not going to get an RFE. Okay, so Stephen Baldwin, you live in South Carolina, okay? I lived in South Carolina for 4 years. I lived in Charleston. I lived in North Charleston with you. I was in the United States Navy. I was stationed at the Naval Weapons Station in Charleston, North Charleston, South Carolina. If you want me to help you find a civil surgeon for you in South Carolina, wherever it is you live, I don't know, I'll find one for you. Okay? And I'll write the address in here on the next live stream. It's up to you. I'll help you find one. But don't be banking on getting a religious exemption for vaccinations. Only medical exemptions. Francois, make up an arrival date and a departure date because the information is pretty much irrelevant. Let me see here. Naza Zanin, how do you see U.S. election impacts on K1 and green card? The election on green cards? Okay. No matter who the president of the United States is, we have an election. I think the election is November 2nd. November 2nd, I believe, is the election for a president. Whoever becomes president of the United States is not going to stop people legally from entering the United States. K1 visas will be processed normally. Green cards will be processed normally. U.S. Citizenship paperwork will be processed normally. But depending on who the president is, when they get sworn into office in January of 2025, whoever that person is, if it's President Trump to be, if you are an illegal immigrant in this country, if you came in here and you bypassed the medical exam, you bypassed the biometrics, you snuck into our country without permission, number one, you're a criminal for doing that. It's illegal. It's a violation of congressional law, so you're a criminal. President Trump will deport you. President Biden, not so much, unless you're from Venezuela. For some reason, Biden likes deporting people from Venezuela. I don't know why that is, but that's his prerogative. He's the president. He controls the borders. The president of the United States controls the borders and the Border Patrol work for the president. Okay? Right now, the borders are wide open. You can just walk in in our country. Doesn't matter. Just walk in and give a 2-minute interview, and you're in America. No biometrics. Well, they may do the biometrics. I stand corrected. They probably do the biometrics, but there's no medical exam. There's no criminal exam. There's no background check. There's no police certificate. So we don't know who the heck's in our country right now. But the question I got was, will the U.S. election impact K1 and green cards? Not at all. K1 visas and green cards will continue to be processed normally. Why? Because you got to have a police check. You got to have a medical exam. You got to go into an interview. You got to prove evidence of your relationship. Okay? But the difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump doesn't want people coming here illegally. But he's not going to block you coming here legally. Biden doesn't care who comes in the country. Just my opinion. I don't even know if he knows what day it is. But, that's because of his age. I mean, who knows what's going on? Our country right now is in need of repair. Francois Livingston, can't thank you enough for your guidance. Francois, that's why I'm here. And Karina too. But Karina's at work right now. Norman Williams, do you have to wait until you receive your welcome letter in order to start the process with the MVC? There is no process with the MVC. If you're in a K1 visa, the National Visa Center doesn't create a process for you. If you're in a spousal visa, Norman Williams, if you are in a IR1, CR1 spousal visa, Then you have to work with the National Visa Center in getting documentary qualified for your wife. Okay, but if you're in a K1 visa, the National Visa Center will receive your K1 visa package from USCIS Service Center, and then they will send you a case number and or an invoice number. And then when the embassy gets on busy, they will send your package to the embassy in whatever country it is your beneficiary lives in. But there's no processing at the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center in New Hampshire will look through your K1 visa package. If they find any mistakes in it, they send it back to USCIS, the Service Center. The National Visa Center has zero authority to approve K1s. There's only two places a K1 visa can get approved and denied. That's at the USCIS Service Center and at the US Embassy in the country where your beneficiary lives. The National Visa Center has no authority to deny a K1 visa. If they find an error, they send it back to USCIS and say, hey, what the heck? If they don't find any errors in the paperwork, they send it to the embassy, they send you a case number, and they tell you that your case is in transit. That's how it works. Nanzanin, relax, okay? Whoever the president is, whoever gets elected president in November isn't going to change the immigration process for legal immigration. If you love somebody in another country, Mr. American citizen, Mr. American citizen, you can still bring that person to the United States. It doesn't matter if Trump is president or Biden is president or Kamala Harris is president. Whoever's the president, it's going to be the same process. But if Trump is president and you are in this country illegally, I would start packing your stuff and looking to go back home because he's not going to let you stay here. Just my opinion from his words in the past. And Norman says, do you have to wait until you receive a welcome letter to start the process with the NVC? There is no process with the NVC. The NVC doesn't, you don't have to do anything with the NVC and a K1 visa unless it's a spousal visa. Let me see. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. Stephen's in South Carolina. I'll find you a civil surgeon in South Carolina, Steve. But I don't know which city do you live in? You live in South Charleston, Columbia. South Carolina is a big place. Francois Livingston, I know he is not deporting. I know he's not departing, and I know I keep repeating, but with my history, the embassy will find fault in the form. No. Francois, listen. I had to fill out the same form. Okay? Mountain Dew salute, Francois, for you. I had to fill out the same form. Just put in there something so that you can get the form moving and get it to the embassy. Francois, Diego, at one point on the DS-160, do I state that either petitioner is helping the beneficiary on the form? Yes, you must do that. I helped Karina fill out her DS-160. I helped fill it out because she can't read English. She's from Venezuela. She doesn't understand English. So I was on the phone with her. Hey, Karina, and I was asking her in Spanish, where do you work? How much money do you make? Et cetera, et cetera. How long have you lived at this address? Well, I know the answer to that because we got the apartment together. But I put my name on the DS-160 as the helper. You have to do that. Francois, sorry for all the questions. No, that's why I'm here. But we are working on the form tomorrow at the library. I don't have a printer at home. I gotcha. Yeah, you got to print. You got to print. I would say at least four pages. Print it 4 times. Have 4 copies of the DS-160 because he's going to, and then scan a copy to him because he's going to need a DS-160 to go to his biometrics. They're going to need his passport and his DS-160. They'll take the DS-160 and match it to the passport. Okay. Vanessa, hi Diego. So sorry I may have missed your explanation. Can you go over again how I can correct my passport and visa? The country is Cameroon. Yes. If you are in the United States of America, Vanessa, in Washington, D.C., or maybe in a big city, there is an embassy of Cameroon in Washington. The embassy of Cameroon is in Washington, D.C., I believe. You can get the passport corrected at the embassy of Cameroon in the United States. Vanessa, do you understand what I just said? Listen, it's difficult for Karina because Karina's from Venezuela, right? The United States and Venezuela, well, we don't see eye to eye because we don't like communists. We don't like dictators. We don't. We like people to be free. Venezuela is not a free country. Venezuela right now is ran by a dictator, okay? And on July 28th of this month, there's an election in Venezuela, and hopefully that communist dictator is kicked out of office by the people. Then hopefully, if Venezuela becomes a free country, we can reopen our embassy in Venezuela. But right now, there's no U.S. embassy in Washington for Venezuela, and there's no U.S. embassy in Venezuela. So if when Karina's passport expires, it's pretty much done. She can't renew it. Where is she going to renew it? There's no embassy here in America, and she can't go back to Venezuela. Okay? So my recommendation is, if you are from Cameroon and your passport is in error and you're in the United States of America, go to the Cameroon embassy in Washington, D.C. and get it fixed. Okay? Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. Javo. Hello, Diego. We submitted our adjustment of status to Carol Stream, Illinois lockbox. I think you mean Elgin. And they received it on June 12th. We have not got our receipt notice yet, and our check has not been checked. How long is the usual wait time? Well, it's going to probably be 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on how busy they are. In the summer months, immigration gets really busy. You know, busy. Especially the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines in May is the busiest. They're back. I don't know why that is. And it's the hottest month of the year, too. But Elgin, Illinois will you know that they've received it, right? You shipped it by FedEx, UPS, DHL, whatever. Now you know they have it, right? So now you just got to wait. Francois, is there a question where it asks at that beginning of form or at the end of it's at the end of the form, Francois. So Francois is going to print a dozen. Dina, Ali, hi Diego, how are you? I came back to the USA, though I came back to the USA, thought I'll come back with my fiance. What? Hi Diego, how are you? We're good. I came back to the USA, thought I'll come back with my fiance. Diego, it's been 4 months and nothing. Do you have any experience how long it takes for administrative processing? It could take 2 to 6 months, Dina. Your beneficiary is from Iraq, right? He's from Iraq. If you're from Iraq, if you're from Syria, if you're from, countries with political instability, it's going to take a little longer to get an approval. But you're going to get. There was a lady from Iran. Okay, she said, number one, how do I have a K1 visa interview? I said, well, go to Turkey, go to the UAE. So I got her to Turkey. Okay, I helped her. She went to Turkey. She got her K1 visa interview in Turkey, and she got a 221G. You're from Iran. We got to do more security checks on you because America and Iran don't get along. But she got her K1 visa. It took a while, but she got it. Okay, Dina, just hang in there. Okay, it's been 4 months. Give it another 2 months max. But you got to maintain contact with the embassy. Okay. Stephen Baldwin's in Greenville, South Carolina. Let me write that down. Stephen's in Greenville. Okay. I'll find a civil surgeon for you. And today, what day is it today? I don't even know. Today's Friday. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'll do a live stream tomorrow. I'll give you the list. I'll give you the list of names of the civil surgeons in Greenville, South Carolina, where you can get your green card medical exam repeated. Just pay the doctor. Redo the medical exam. Redo the 693. Redo the certification of the vaccinations. And in my opinion, your fiance is just going to have to get over the fact that the U.S. immigration folks are not going to accept a religious exemption for vaccinations. You can get a medical exemption if she's pregnant or she has something wrong, in her blood where she cannot accept a vaccination. The civil surgeon will give her a medical waiver. But a religious exemption, immigration is going to say, no, get your vaccinations. Listen to me, man. Vanessa Tate, yes, I understand. Thanks. Now, another question. If I correct the visa and passport, how do I correct the I-94? Because since the passport and my name reversed, the I-94 has a reverse name too. So your whole adjustment of status paperwork is basically in error because of the name is back to front. When you were in Cameroon, did you not know that? You cannot change your I-94. You can't change your I-94. You can change your passport, yeah, but the rest of the paperwork is done. Okay, the visa, you cannot correct the K-1 visa. It's done unless you're in Cameroon. If you're in Cameroon and you notice that the name was in error on your passport, that's when you should correct it. Now you're in the United States of America. Your I-94 has been generated. Your K-1 visa has been generated. It's in your passport. Everything's done. The only thing you can do now is change your passport to the way it's supposed to be. Okay? And then write a letter of explanation when you file for the green card that you had to correct your passport because the name was back to front and you just noticed it. That's how you fix it. You can't fix the I-94. You can't fix the K-1 visa. It's all done. Vanessa, Diego, how do we prove to USCIS that we live together for the green card application? And he's not renting the house. He tried to put me on the accounts, but he bank asked for a social security number. Go get a social security number, but you can't, right? Because the name is backwards. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply. You can't get your social security number, so you can't get put on the lease or to the house. You write a letter of explanation when you apply for the green card and say that when you apply, once you get your passport corrected, you write a letter of explanation in the green card application and state what happened, that the name was reversed accidentally on the passport. You couldn't get a social security number. I mean, Vanessa, I don't know how you didn't catch it in Cameroon before you came to the United States, because you could have fixed it in Cameroon at the, I don't know how you get a passport in Cameroon, but that's where I would have fixed it. But you can fix your passport. In Washington, D.C., there's the Embassy of Cameroon in Washington. Go there and get your passport renewed and corrected. But you cannot fix the I-94. You cannot change the K-1 visa. So, and because your passport doesn't match your birth certificate, right? Is that what's happened? So you tried to get a social security number. You couldn't get it because the birth certificate doesn't match the passport. Here's what you do. You fix the passport. You get a new passport. Okay? And then you're good to go. That's all you got to do. The only thing you got to do is fix your passport so it matches your birth certificate. Okay? Contact the embassy in Cameroon. Yeah, I'm good, right? I'm pretty good at this. You contact the Embassy of Cameroon in Washington, D.C. and say, I need to correct the name on my passport. Okay? Do that today. Once you have your new passport, it shouldn't take them long to get you a new passport if you do an emergency application. Okay? When you file for your green card, when you get your passport, get your new passport from Cameroon. Here's your brand new passport from Cameroon. You go to the Social Security office with your birth certificate and your I-94, but the names is going to be even then it's going to be a problem on the I-94. So get your new passport and let Homeland Security process your Social Security number for you. On page 2 of 480 of the form 485, you fill out in there that you want Homeland Security to process your Social Security number, and then because you didn't have a Social Security number, you couldn't get on the bank and you couldn't get on the house deed and all that stuff. Just write a letter of explanation, sign it and date it, and you're perfectly good. Okay? Vanessa, do you understand? You got it? Tell me you understand. Vanessa, get a new passport from the embassy in Cameroon in Washington, and then apply for your green card and let Homeland Security apply for your social security number. And then write a letter of explanation of what you had to do. You got it? Eso! Muy bien. Stephen Baldwin, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, states the civil surgeon can put a religious exemption in the medical exam report to USCIS. This is why there is confusion. The CDC can say whatever it wants, but Homeland Security controls green cards. If the immigration officer wants to see full vaccinations, he's going to want to see full vaccinations, and he's going to take that religious exemption and run it through the shredder, because the CDC does not run Homeland Security. The CDC gives the Center for Disease Control, gives opinions. The CDC says, here's an opinion. This is an opinion. We think that we should allow religious exemptions for vaccinations. Very good. So the civil surgeon goes with the CDC opinion and says, I'm going to sign off on a religious exemption. And then you get an RFE from Homeland Security saying, where are the vaccinations? Well, we got a religious exemption. Well, we're not going to accept it. The only thing we're going to accept are medical exemptions. It could happen. It's like a crapshoot at Las Vegas. It's like you're in Las Vegas playing the tables. Whoever the lady is behind there with, you don't know what cards you're going to get, right? You don't know. Just get the freaking vaccinations. Just my opinion. Or you can I'll find you a civil surgeon in Greenville, South Carolina, and ask the doctor to sign off on a religious exemption and see what happens. Hopefully you don't get denial. I'm just trying to save you from a green card denial. That's all. Vanessa Tave, thank you so much. Okay, Vanessa, listen. Contact the Embassy of Cameroon in Washington. Say, I got to fix my name on my passport. Can you fix it for me? They'll fix it. Pay the extra money for the emergency correction. They'll send you a new passport. You're probably going to have to go get passport pictures taken. Okay? And then when you apply for your green card, you will include a picture. You're going to make a picture of your K-1 visa. You're going to take a picture of it for the application, plus your new passport. Okay? So now we're going to be dealing with two passports. The old one that has got the name incorrectly on it, and the new one, which has got the correct name on it. Both copies of those passports are going to go in your green card application with a letter of explanation. All right. Francois, one more question. Yesterday I registered with the embassy. Okay, and maybe it was premature to do. No, you're fine. After the DS-160 is done, I go back on the U.S. Embassy and I start the application. That's correct, Francois. Mountain Dew salute for Francois. You are top of the class today. I meant to go back on the embassy website. Yeah, you got to go into U.S. travel docs. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. I've saved Vanessa from a massive headache. I've got Francois on track with the DS-160. I'm going to have to figure out this medical exam, okay, for Stephen in Greenville, South Carolina. I will be back on Livestream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time. Francois, thank you for the surprise live stream. Francois, I just had this gut feeling that people needed help today, and I'm not busy, so I jumped on it. Tell Karina she was missed. Yeah, Karina sits right here. Well, that's her chair. I don't know if you can see it. There, look. That's Karina's chair right there. It's waiting for her. But tomorrow night she'll be sitting in it, and I'm going to do a little bit of painting. I got to do some work around the house, guys. So I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. and 6 p.m. Central Time is 7 p.m. Miami time, and I will have the doctor's address for Greenville, South Carolina. Listen, Immigration, Homeland Security couldn't give a pony's tail what the CDC says about religious exemptions. They want to see vaccinations, guys. They want to see vaccinations. While Biden is president, anyway. See you guys tomorrow.